Hi, welcome and thank you for joining again. A quick reminder before you go ahead, each program done in the video has links in the description below. Please click on these. You can do the programs yourselves, understand the topic better without having to download the software. And don't forget to subscribe. We'll start with strings, and the topics we are going to cover today are creating strings, string indexing, string slicing, comparing strings, string properties, and string methods. Strings are used in Python to record text information, and it could be a single word, it could be a paragraph, it could even be a file. Strings are amongst the most popular data structures in Python, and we create them simply by enclosing the characters within single or double quotes. And if it's a multi-line string, we use triple quotes. We'll now look at different ways to create strings in Python. We start with a simple variable x put equal to hello world within quotes. We can also use triple quotes to make a multi-line string. Using backslash at the end of the line is another way of writing multi-line strings. We can also use the constructor function str to change any integer or float or any other data type into a string. Now in the output, we see that if we use triple quotes, the output is written in the format it was given in, but the string written with the help of backslash is become a single line string. And if we try to add the two strings that were converted from number and float, we will see that it ends up putting them together rather than doing the arithmetic addition. Strings are ordered sequences of character data, and indexing allows you to access individual characters in a string directly by using a numeric, which is also called index. The first character of any string is given the index 0, and then we follow it up with 1, 2, 3, and so on. We also have something called the reverse index, in which case we start from the end and give the index -1. We keep decreasing the number of the index to -2, -3, and so on as we move towards the left of the string. We also have something called the ordinal values of characters, and these are actually the Unicode values that are given to each character. And Python uses these values to compare two characters while using the OR function, and we're going to look at an example of this. We'll now look at an example to compare two strings. The strings are the same, however, their cases are different. One is in uppercase, the other in lowercase. And if we try to compare these, they give the output false. If I say string 1 less than string 2, it will give us true. This is because the ordinal value of capital A is 65, whereas the ordinal value of A is 97. So when we compare two strings, it is their ordinal value which is compared. We come to indexing and slicing strings. Now, here we are going to pick up a part of the string or a slice of the string. We are going to use the name of the variable that stores the string, and in the square bracket, we'll give the starting index and the end index. The output will extract the string from the starting point, but one less than the index given at the end position. We can also index and slice strings with something called a step size. And in this case, we will have to give the name of the string And in square brackets, we give 2 colons followed by n. So let's do this with an example where we have a string x which is equal to hello world. And we say print x and give 2 colons followed by n. The step size here is always going to be n minus 1. So in this case, it will be 1. It will give us an output with the index 0 and ignore index 1. Then it will show the index 2 and ignore the index 3. Show the index 4, ignore the index 5, so on. Similarly, if we write print x double colon 3, it will ignore 2 characters each time. So it will give us H, ignore the next 2, give us L, ignore the next 2, and so on. We look at an example for indexing and slicing. The index can be written with the name of the string, and in bracket we write the number. It will output the character at that particular index. So for 0, it's output W. For 2, it outputs L, and so on. We can also use 0 colon. It will output the entire string starting with 0. If we change this to 2, it will start from 2 and go to the end. The output has changed. If we start from 2, go up to 5, it will output the characters at index 2, 3, and 4 because it always outputs 1 less than the last index. If we write 3 and write double colon, now it will output starting from index 3 up to the end. If we write double colon and minus 1, the string gets reversed. If we output the step size using 2, we get alternate characters as an output because the step size here is n minus 1, that is 1. If we just write double colon, it will output the entire string. To check whether a string is a palindrome or not, we can change it first to the lower case. We use string double colon minus 1 to reverse the string and store it in another variable, string 2. We then compare string 1 with string 2 and we print it's a palindrome if these two are the same. Otherwise, it is not a palindrome. And then we try and output both the strings. We get the string is a palindrome and we notice that both the strings are the same. An important property of strings is that they are immutable. That means once we've created them, then we cannot change them permanently. For example, we have a string x equal to hello world. If we want to change the character at index 0 to s, it will not give us an output. Instead, it will give us an error. The len function returns the length of a string. It counts everything, alphabets, numbers, commas, spaces, special characters, anything within the quotes is counted towards the length of the string. The len function is used to find the length of a string. And in this case, we have a string hello world. So the length is going to be 12. We can also use the length to manipulate how we output the string. And for that, we have used new string length minus 1. Length is the variable which stores the length. If we write length minus 1, we get the output at the last index. That means the last index is always 1 less than the length of the variable. The arithmetic plus operator can also be used to merge two strings. It's called string concatenation. So if we take two strings x and y, we can use a third string to store the concatenated version of x and y. We can also use a string variable with a literal to output the concatenated version. The multiplication symbol can be used to create a number of repetitions of the string. So for example, we take a string and multiply it by 3. The output will show us the string 3 times. String methods are used to perform some kind of tasks which will manipulate the string. We are going to look at some of these. We start with capitalize, which converts the first character of the string to uppercase. Case fold and lower methods will convert the string to lowercase. Upper converts it to uppercase. Title converts the first character of each word of the string to uppercase. Swap case changes the lowercase to upper and upper to lower. We're going to use methods upper, lower, case fold, title, capitalize, and swap case to the string which has the value introducing strings in Python. Now, if you notice, there's in the output all caps for the upper, all lowercase for lower and case fold. In titles has capitalized the first letter of each word. And in case of swap case, it has changed the uppercase to lower and lowercase to upper. The method count returns the number of occurrences of the substring in the given string. The find method searches the string for a specified value and returns the index of where it was found. Now, if it is not found, it returns -1. The same thing is done by the index method. The only difference is that index will raise an exception in case it does not find the specified value. We use the count method to count how many times the string oil appears in this string. How much oil will you boil from the soil? It gives us the output 3. We can also use the function find to find out if Python is in this particular string txt. And yes, it is at the 21st index. Now we get the same output if we use the method index. But in case we use find to look for a word which does not exist in the string, it will give us the output -1. In case of index, it will give us an error. The replace method returns a string where a specified value is replaced by another value. The partition method searches for a specified string and splits the string into a tuple containing 3 elements. The first element contains the first part before the specified string. The second part contains the specified string, and the third element will contain the part after the specified string. We use the method replace, and we change the alphabet H to J in the string hello world. We'll get the output jello world. Spanish will still pronounce it as hello world. We also have a string where we've replaced an entire word by another word, and we notice that the output shows it with the new word. We can also use a word to partition the string new_str. In that case, it will output a tuple with 3 elements. That is the one before Python, the second one is Python, and the third is going to be after Python. lstrip, rstrip are used to strip spaces of a string from the left or the right side, and strip removes the spaces both from the left and the right side of a string. The split method splits the string at the specified separator and then returns a list. Here's an example to use lstrip, rstrip, and strip. We have 2 variables, fname and lname, and both these strings have spaces before and after the words. So we actually use the lstrip to remove the spaces from the beginning. We use rstrip to remove the spaces from the back, and we use strip to remove the spaces from both front and back. We've used the split method in different ways by giving different separators. So in the first case, we've given the separator space, and it has changed the string into a list of words. If the words in the string are separated by commas, we can use split, and you can give comma as a separator. It will again split it accordingly. If the words of the string are separated by colon, we can use that to split the string into a list of words. There are some methods which check for patterns within the string, and they return either true or false. Isalnum method is one of these, and it returns true if all characters in the string are either alphabets or numbers. Isalpha will return true if all the characters within the string are only alphabets. And isdigit will return true if all the characters in the string are digits only. We also have isspace, which returns true if all characters in the string are white spaces. Isupper will return true if the characters in the string are all uppercase, and islower returns true if all the characters in the string are lowercase. The isalnum function will check if there are only alphabets and numbers given, and if they are, then it will execute and write thank you. Otherwise, if I put any special characters, it will give an output, you must enter a valid customer ID. We can use isalpha method to check whether the user has input only alphabets and no space or special characters or numbers. And suppose we write my name, I execute it, it'll give us the output hello, and I'm using these brackets along with the function dot format and X. So whatever is in X will be output. If I put any numbers along with the name and then execute, it will say enter a valid name, please. Isdigit will check if there are only digits or only numbers. In that case, it will say thank you. Otherwise, it will give us an error. You must enter a valid admission number. So that was a little bit about the data structures strings. You could click on the links given in the description below, open, practice them, and understand them better. And don't forget to subscribe. Thank you and bye-bye.